We do have a level 3 threat. Does extend into portions of the Ohio Valley early tomorrow morning. Places like Chicago that have been dealing with some storms today could be dealing with storms tomorrow during the morning commute. It goes all the way down into Memphis. Memphis, we're talking about you again. We just keep talking about Memphis. This goes into Middle Tennessee, Nashville included, the level 3, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, all major cities and a lot of towns affected by this area as well. That possibility goes all the way into a good portion of Pennsylvania, right into West Virginia. You've got the chance to see some of these storms pop up. Meantime, when you look at the tornado threat as we go through the day tomorrow, there is the possibility where you could still see some strong tornadoes, EF2 or stronger. And look at this, for a good portion of the Mitten, Michigan, all the way down in through Fort Wayne, a good chunk of Indiana, right down to Indianapolis, included in that, where you could see some of those large tornadoes, EF2 or stronger. And then you watch this. This is Future Track, early tomorrow morning, 4 o'clock. Notice I said there's Milwaukee, there's Chicago. You head on down to Peoria. Peoria just, was watching closely the radar tonight. Tomorrow morning, you get a lot of heavy rain moves through, maybe some of these twisting storms. This is now 12 o'clock. And notice the Mitten, Michigan, dealing with a lot of the stronger storms, also some heavy rain. Could be dealing with some flash flooding in some cases. A lot of these storms develop in the same location, producing a whole lot of rain and moving relatively slowly, if you think about it that way, because now we're looking at 6 o'clock, and now you've only moved into places like Buffalo, all the way over to Cleveland. Take that down into Lexington, Kentucky. You're talking about Paducah. Paducah still dealing with some pockets of heavy rain. We've got a few more rounds set up in some of the same locations, including portions of Middle Tennessee, right up and through a good portion of the Smokies, the Appalachians. You take that into the Allegheny Mountains, and where you've got a little bit of lift, you could squeeze out a lot of moisture and be dealing with a little more in the way of flash flooding. Could be dealing with some hail with these storms as well. Large hail at that, potentially 2 inches in diameter or better. And you saw just how big a 2-inch hail can be. Can do some damage to your car, anything that's left outside. We watched this coast-to-coast storm. Remember, it started off in the Pacific Northwest over the weekend, dropped into the Rockies, got picked up by that strong jet, and really started to flip over and move to the north and northeast. So now we've got that chance with the red, where you could see those severe storms popping up through the day tomorrow. Look at the temperatures. They quickly rebound. You're talking about temperatures into the 70s and 80s, and dew points are pretty high up. We just got through some hot weather. We'll see the temperatures rebound, and all of that hot air goes well up into the north. This is just a few weeks ahead of time, but here we go again. Second week where we're dealing with this. Wednesday evening, we drop into the 40s. The severe weather threat continues, especially close to the front right where it advances. Plenty of rain to contend with. Now you're looking at Thursday. Temperatures, look at this. You're looking at temperatures in the 80s. Right along portions of the Delmarva. New York City at 79 degrees, showers and thunderstorms. You can see some of those storms become a little more severe, and that does include places along the Delmarva, the Jersey Shore, right into portions of Pennsylvania. You can see Philadelphia included in there. We just saw some severe weather move through New Jersey just over the weekend. We take this down into Asheville, North Carolina, and right along the Smokies. You take a look at Washington, D.C., boy, I hope you got a chance to get in there and see some of the blooms, because we got some more showers and thunderstorms coming in on Thursday.
I'm Amy Freeze. Welcome to Fox Weather's YouTube page. We have more great videos on the way, so make sure to subscribe to stay updated on all things weather.